Hello, my name is Sydney Hines, and this is a presentation for an air pollution and news article for CE 6302. So the article that I chose was Air Quality, a National Summary by the Environmental Protection Agency. Was last updated May 6, 2025. So the article will start off by stating some air quality trends. So in 2023, about 66 million tons of pollution were emitted into the atmosphere in the United States. These emissions mostly contribute to the formation of ozone and particles, the deposition of acids, and visibility impairment. There's approximately 140 million people nationwide that live in counties with pollution levels above their primary NAAQS measure in 2023. Here is a chart that shows the percent change in air quality from 1980 to 2023. So about 43 years. So the EPA took these measurements from monitors around the country, and a major takeaway is that the air quality concentration, so basically the concentration of these air pollutants, has improved since 1980. And we're going to talk about an extremely large decrease in lead in a minute. Also, in emissions trends, the article switched to this next. And this is a chart of a similar nature, except this is a percent change in emissions from 1980 to 2023. Okay. Um, and these are calculated from actual readings of the pollutants emitted by vehicles and factories across the United States. This includes levels of industrial activity, technological developments, fuel consumption, vehicle miles traveled, and other activities that cause air pollution. And what it means by technological development is basically new technology that decreases um, either emissions or decreases the pollutants suspended in the air. And this chart also shows that emissions have also significantly decreased since 1980. Total emissions of the six principal air pollutants dropped by 78% in those 43 years. So the reason why emissions trends are extremely important is basically forms the basis of how the EPA measures the effectiveness of their various federal programs. For example, airborne lead pollution has decreased by 98%, okay, since 1980. So, and this is due, in part by the permanent phase out of leaded gasoline. So basically, that would be, vehicles they used to use leaded gasoline. Now they use, lead-free gasoline. So these also be controls on the emissions of lead compounds. They're allowed to escape into the atmosphere, and this is through the EPA's air toxics program. There are also other national and state regulations as well that were being followed throughout this period that led to the decrease of airborne lead pollution by 98%. So another thing that I got from the article is that it is pretty fascinating how since 1970 you have an increase in the GDP, increase in vehicles miles traveled. So of course, the increase in automobile sales and the usage of those vehicles. You have an increase in population of the United States. Um, an increase in energy consumption throughout this period, and an increase in CO2 emissions. However, aggregate emissions, so the from the six common pollutants, has actually decreased throughout this period. So it is actually possible to reduce air pollutants while also having a growing economy and growing population, which is pretty amazing. And all of that is basically due to implementing federal regulations, state regulation, and enforcing state regulations, federal regulations, implementing state and federal programs that reduce air pollution, and harmful emissions, regulating stationary and mobile sources. So, example of stationary would be like a factory, like a point source or something, and mobile sources, such as like vehicles, planes, trains. Um, And of course, technological advancements mentioned earlier from inventors. Thank you.